All right, in this video, we are going to try to do a rather quick and efficient removal and replacement of this Maytag front load washer boot seal. Over the years, this has got quite a bit of mold on it, and it's just very, very hard to remove any mold. Best thing you can do on a front load washer in particular is to spray vinegar water mixture on the boot seal occasionally, and always try to leave this door open so it can aerate. This model in particular is a Maytag Maxima, model number MHW5100DW0. And Maytag is actually owned by Whirlpool, so the official Whirlpool part that we are going to use, I bought this for just under $100 on Amazon. Do shop around because you can find this part all over the place, but at different prices. I would not and never do suggest using anything except for a factory OEM part. And this part is W1047 4367. Again, W1047 4367. And I bought this again on Amazon for about $100. I'll try to post a link. All right, let's get going. All right, the first step you're gonna do is remove these 3 screws, which are back on the back of the washer on this tab. Okay, so just one on the far right side, one in the middle, and one on the far side. This is a star bit, okay? And if you don't want to use a star bit, you can oftentimes get creative, and I just used the screwdriver and it fits right onto the end of the screw. Be careful that you don't drop the screws behind the washer. All right, next up, you're gonna remove the laundry detergent tray, and you're gonna find the star bit that matches up. I would highly recommend that you make sure that you have the exact star bit, because those are likely gonna be rusted and you don't want to strip them out if you use an incorrect bit. And I'm probably breaking a best practice, which is I am using a power impact wrench to get those out. Again, just be careful so that you don't strip those heads, because if you do, it's going to make it hard to get them out and in. And again, you'll probably notice something you don't want to see, which is mold. And I'll drop a link to a product that can help you combat mold in your washer. All right, with these screws out and the screws out the back, what you'll want to do is you will want to slide this panel back and then tilt it up and take it off. I've taken and put a nice towel on here so you don't scratch the top of this, and you'll remove the top of the washer. All right, next up, we are going to remove this screw right here, which is on this black tab. Excuse me, actually, this one right here, the front screw here, and the front screw right here. All right, with the 2 screws off, you're going to gently remove this, careful of the cable, and set the control panel on top of the washer out of the way. Careful with this set of blue wires. Next thing you want to do is remove the spring and wire system that holds the boot seal on. There's various ways of getting this off. Be safe and careful of your eyes in case this pops out aggressively. All right, I wanted to just highlight a little bit of a modification that I've made, because what you'll notice, or will eventually notice when you get to this portion where you are removing the spring and wire system that holds in this rubber boot to the actual front door frame, is there is just so much tension here. And again, if this is your first time, what you will not see on your factory unit is this right here. And I had attempted this job about a year ago just to inspect to see how hard this was going to be. I did not have the part at that time. And after I got this piece off, I struggled to get this back on. So what I did is, obviously I got this overall piece off. And when it was off, I took some very, very strong wire cabling and made myself a system here that connects the spring to this clasp loop and essentially just reduce some of the overall tension. and it made it possible for me to get that back on, yet without any real major risk of this seal coming out. So it's still performing its main function, which is holding its rubber seal in, but it makes it somewhat bearable to get this on and off, especially as a one-person job. All right, just wanted to give you again a little bit close up. This is the wiring that I had used. It's a 10 pound. You could go even to a 20 if you wanted. And I just made a system that looped back on itself and twisted around there multiple times. This has been on here for over a year, and it hasn't had any degradation or anything like that. But again, it gets you an extra inch to 2 inches while still holding that on, and it makes it a little bit easier. If you take that off and you try to do this all as one piece, it's very, very hard. So something you can copy or not, it's up to you. On this stage, we're going to take out this screw and this screw as well. And those are, again, star screws, T20s, to get those out. And then from there, we will push this forward along with this entire boot seal. So if you want, you can get the boot seal ready. You'll see this hose eventually will come out as well too. But again, you'll need to take these 2 screws out. All right, I'm gonna add an extra little tip step here. If you wanna take this, you can. If not, that's all right. This is your detergent, and essentially where all the water comes down and flows into and mixes with the soap and ultimately goes down into the tub. Why I'm highlighting this point is this is an air breather valve here, and then you've got 2 inlets here, right? If you take this out, and if you've ever looked down inside here, it gets pretty nasty, okay? And so the way that you can clean that is you take off this chemical tray, right? This is for your detergent and everything else. And you can remove this screw right here and a couple of others. And then you'll have to remove these 2 hoses here, right? Just get a vice grips, and then there'll be 2 springs on there that release. And you'll be able to remove this, and you'll see that there are clips here. And this will allow you to take this piece out. It runs about $60 to $80 new, so it's worth just cleaning this up. The part number there, if you do want to just go new, is W10419683, and you can find that, again, like I said, $50 to $75 brand new. Or you can take it out and you can soak this in bleach, scrub this out, and try to get this clean as a whole. It will probably end up getting back to this state. I can't say how soon, if it'll take months or years or a lot of loads, but if you're really concerned about mold, in addition to all the other things that you can do, this is one of the best ways, is to take this piece off and do a deep clean. Okay, I've removed the piece I just described to you. You can see, just squeeze down on these and pull the spring back, the clasp here. There's actually one down there as well. And then obviously you had to do that gold screw right here. That piece came on. I've got it sitting and soaking in a bleach water mixture in a 5-gallon bucket in the other room with the fan on. And then we're gonna get on to the next step. All right, we're gonna start to get on to the main part of the job, which is going to be taking this seal off of the outside and just pushing it on the inside. Again, these pieces are off. So just kind of get that off as a whole. You'll notice that this is detached here because, as I explained earlier in the video, I took this piece out to clean it. But you do need to pull this piece out. And again, you'll eventually be putting this plastic piece into the new seal, right? And you'll notice, again, you get the outside lip and then you're pushed in. And this is where you'll want to start to become familiar with how this overall system works and looks if you're not familiar with it as a whole. But again, there's going to be this inside rotating metal tub, right? And then you'll have down in here where this seal, okay, pull this back, you'll grab this part and you'll pull up. And you peel this out all the way around until you're removed. Okay, at this point in time, you're probably ready to take the seal off of the outside of the door, right? This front frame, because eventually we're going to need to take this piece out, and this 1, 2, 3 bolts along with the 4 along the bottom underneath. Those are T20s. These are 10 mils. So you'll see that there are some hanging pegs here. This door is heavy, so you'll want to watch your toes. You'll take 1, 2, 3 out last is my recommendation after you've got those floor out. And then this whole door system will come up and off. But in order to do that, you will have to have taken this boot and peeled it away. All right then, so we've got our front door is off, okay? And again, what we will notice here before we actually get a chance to take the rubber seal out to put the new one in is there is another clasp, a wire system. This instead actually uses a screw in there, so you'll want to put a Phillips screwdriver in there and back that screw out, and then this piece will separate, and then again, the metal piece that holds this in will be removed. Do take note where it is, because when you put on the new seal and then put this metal clasp back on, you'll want to have it down in this channel right here between the 2 pieces of rubber, not on the back side, right here between these 2 pieces of rubber on the seal at the edge. All right, the clasp is out on the inside. Again, you can see the screw system, and as you go righty-tighty, it'll tighten that up. And then as you did before, you went lefty-loosey, and it opens this up and allows you to get that off. So at this point in time, you're gonna take off the seal. And again, this is where you're gonna start to get familiar. You'll notice that this is tucked inside there, right? So you'll come inside here and you'll begin to pull up here and take it off of this plastic lip. And you'll go all the way around until the boot comes off. You can also start up here at the top and peel from the outside, okay? And pull down like that way, okay? And I'd recommend that after you dispose of the old seal, that you clean this up with some Clorox wipes or bleach spray or anything else that you want. And then another tip is occasionally you can hear things. Things will get down inside here and get underneath the stainless steel drum. So you want to just turn this and listen. Sometimes you can look down inside there with a flashlight and you might find rags or trash or anything else. If you do see anything, make sure that you remove it from inside there before you put on the new new boot, excuse me. All right, here's gonna be a extra step and tip that you definitely want to do. After many years, what you'll notice is some things can get caught in the pump out, the water pump out. And this right here is a clean out. Now, some brands will actually have an accessible port on the front of the washer without having to take any of it apart. You just turn it and open it up. But while you have the front of the door open, you definitely want to open that. You might want to set a cookie sheet or something down on the ground, definitely a towel, something like that, because water will disperse out of here and you want to be able to collect that. And then, it's going to probably be a little bit of a gross job. You might find a sock in there or coins or gosh knows what. So go ahead and open that up and clean that out. Make sure that you get anything big out of there that the pump has stuck in there. Okay, here's what I mean. So keep the clothing in there, some coins, a lot of just not really great stuff. So you can clean that off and maybe spray it down with some bleach water, mold killer, whatever you want. And make sure that you go underneath there and look from the side in and that it's empty, that there's nothing big stuck in there. You might have to have a flashlight on or a separate flashlight, but you want to make sure that there's nothing stuck inside there. Okay, we've got our new seal here, factory seal. You'll notice that we have put this new plastic piece inside this rubber seal, which then eventually will go up into this piece, and then this will connect back up into the into the soap dispenser, right? So we'll come back to this. And one of the key things that you want to make sure of is when you put this boot on, that there is a very specific way that you're supposed to put this boot on. And if you don't, it will not drain. So hopefully you listen up and pay attention to this. What you'll notice here is these grooves. There's a kind of a channel groove here, one here, 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 and here, so on and so forth. These two right here are critical because on the inside of the seal, so first of all, you'll notice that this little flange goes towards the top. So there'll be an arrow, okay? That obviously goes up into the 12 o'clock position. May or may not be obvious, excuse me. So goes in. Make sure also that you don't put it on backwards, which would be hard to do. But so you'll start with that little arrow generally going up and at the 12 o'clock position. But down here at the bottom, you'll notice that there are drain holes, right, which go actually into the sump. And inside the boot here, the seal, there are those drain channels too. If you don't get those aligned with those, okay, perfectly, these will not drain. You'll have standing water, you'll have mold again, and you'll have water problems as a whole. So what you're going to do is you are going to put the seal on, okay, and get it all the way around here, and then make sure that you can see through the rubber and then into these holes right here. If you want to test it, you can actually pour some water down into here. Once it's installed, pour the water down in there and make sure that it drains. And then from there, you'll simply put on your circle ring here that holds it back up here. All right, so in this step, what we've done is we put this arrow right at the 12 o'clock position, top dead center, and then systematically began to hang the lip around that plastic lip underneath it, right? The rubber lip that will go on top of this, right? You fold it over. You do not want to go all the way around like this. My recommendation is you go this curve and then this curve here. And this is the most important thing, as I was saying before. You need to make sure that when you get down to here, that you look at these channels, and these are the two most important. This one just to the right of center, there's center, and then just the left of center. And here's the reason why. If you peel this back, you'll see, I don't know if you can see it there, but there are these grooves that stick out, these pieces. This needs to go inside of this track. Otherwise, this will not lay flat, okay? So you'll see this needs to hinge up in here, okay? And you'll notice that this can fold back on itself. Okay, so you'll go like this, you'll pull this back, and then this comes up over the top, okay? So ultimately, as you work your way around, see, you'll peel this back and you'll stuff it down in there between the metal and the plastic, right? But this should lay flat. If you don't do that and this doesn't lay flat, the door won't shut well and you may have a problem with the draining. Now, that's the biggest thing. You can see the drain holes are decently lined up, right? It's actually not perfect. It's probably okay. But what I would recommend is that you can push a screwdriver through the rubber opening and then into the plastic hole, which will allow the water to drain down into the drum. This is the most important thing on this whole step. As long as you get those drain holes lined up, that's the most important thing before you put your metal band on. That metal band will go right here in this groove where my finger is, all the way around, and then you tighten it up at the top with a screwdriver. Okay, so again, as you're looking down inside there, plastic holes line up with the holes in the rubber. So that's the most important thing. You'll go along the wall here, the circle, and you'll see there's another groove, and then there's another piece on the rubber plastic. So there are markers that you can see that need to go in these certain areas to make sure that this boot is on perfectly. Not super hard, just want to make sure that you do that part right. Okay, So seal is all the way around, tucked in smoothly here. Put the metal clasp around, and now it's time to tighten that up with a simple Phillips screwdriver. Alright, until that gets closed. Alright. Snug. Alright, then what you want to do is just make sure that that is sealed all the way around. Again, the most critical thing is that that seal, that metal piece is down inside that flange. The rubber seal all the way around, and it's held. Then from there, we're going to go ahead and connect the black piece here, reinstall our chemical dispenser, the soap dish here. That's what I'm cleaning separately. If you didn't do that, that's fine. You would just hook that back up right here. We'll get on to the next step. Okay, here is the soap dispenser where I took the lid off, the top part, and you can see these 3 hinges, clips, and 4 on this side. We'll go back on here, and then we can reinstall that. But I got that and soaked that in bleach water, heavy bleach and water, and scrubbed that down and removed as much of the apparent mildew and moldish that I could get out of it. All right, you'll see here that we've got this drain hose connected and then clamped up here into the soap dispenser. Next, we need to put on this metal ring and spring, but in order to do that, we have to put the door back on. And again, it's going to be 1, 2, 3 bolts, and then 4 along the bottom. Do the tops first, so hang it up on this pin, and this pin, and this pin. Put those bolts in, and then you can put the 4 down below, and then work on the spring. All right, so our door's on. 3 10mm screws here, and the 4 down along the bottom, right? So this door is on tight. You want to make sure that you kind of just guide this up into here. If you want, you can actually set these screws here. But then what we're getting onto next is one of the final and last steps. It can be a little bit more tricky than anything else, which is getting this last wire on. Goal again here is to pull this out, and you'll see this is lipped. This lip here needs to go over this slight curve of the metal here all the way around. And then of course what you'll do is then get the wire band to go around here to hold this on tight. So we'll work on first again getting the screws in, and then start on getting that spring and wire around. Okay, I've got my spring and wire all the way around. I've tested to make sure that this is tight and sealed all the way around. Double check those holes again while you're down here for drainage alignment. And make sure that those are just all good to drain. You might even want to pour a cup of water in there before your first load and just make sure that it drains out. Next, we are going to put our control unit back on. Be delicate with this. You'll notice that there's a peg there, a peg there. Those go down into those black holes. Okay, don't force it. If you're forcing it, it's probably not going on right. Then those line up there. Screw that in. And then screw that in. Straight down into lines. Okay. Then after that, you'll screw in there and screw in there. Okay, last but not least, we're gonna put our top back on. Again, if you remember, it sits down, slides forward, and there'll be 3 holes in the back. And you put those screws inside, 1, 2, and 3, and you should be good to go.